Welcome back to the Python course. So this is going to be class 3 and it will be about the operators in Python. So in the last class, we have seen the variables and the rules, how to use them. Then we saw the different data types and also the concept of typecasting. So in this class, we will be studying operators. Now let's create a new file by creating this icon, class 3 operators.py. It will create our Python file. In this lecture, we will be studying how we use math operators in Python. Here's a little assignment for you. Go on the internet or any AI chatbot. You can also use this black box AI, which I told you how to install, and study which of these rules, PEMDAS, BODMAS, or DMAS, does Python use for calculations. PEMDAS means that parentheses, exponential, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. And now let's continue our lecture on the operators. So remember the rules I teach you for the variables. We initialized two variables. Variable 1, let's take its value 7, and then variable 2, and let's take its value like 4. For arithmetic operators are plus, minus, multiplication, division. This sign is used for the floor division. The floor division is just that it returns the largest possible integer rounding down to the nearest whole number. So if we have an answer that is 3.33, it will give us the answer equal to 3, right? And this exponential operator is going to give us the calculation on to the raised power. So we have 2 static 2, it will give us 4. The percentage sign returns us a remainder value. Now let's calculate all this using these two variables. So I'm going to take this one, paste here. So I've taken variable 1, variable 2 this is a string. So this is a string is equal to, now first we will have this print, and here will the operation take place, and this operation will be the addition of both. Now let's run our program. I made a mistake. Make mistakes and then correct them, in this way you will learn. So where is our answer? 7 plus 4, 11. This is the first operator we use, that is for the plus. Now we will use the second one. Similarly, all the others. There's one thing I would like to mention is that you can select multiple locations by pressing Alt and cursor. Let me show you. We press here, Alt, and here I can remove this, and I can replace by division with both ends. Similarly, I can select here the multiple locations, and then I can replace it with static sign, that is used for multiplication. Similarly here. Now if I run the program again, here are the answers. Variable 1 plus 2, 11, minus 3. Multiplication gives us 28 and division gave us 1.75. And similarly, let's test the floor division and exponential as well. So here is the floor division. I have taken the variables again, variable 1, variable 2, and here is the floor division sign, which I taught you earlier. Now if I run the program again, we'll see the answer is 1. Why is that? Because it took this 7 divided by 4. It gives us this 1.75. So the Python rounds it to 1, that is the whole number. Takes place in the Python. Next, we have exponential operator. I took the same line of code and applied the exponential operator. Now let's run the program. So it gives us the answer 2401. So how did it happen? Like 7 raised to the power 4 gives us the same number, 2401. So this is how this multiplies. Next, again, take the same line of code, percentage sign, and let me comment this. Now let's run the program again. So the remainder is 3. So these are the arithmetic operators, right? I think it's all clear. It's nothing. Let me comment this out. Next, we have the assignment operators. This equal sign is used to assign a value, which we learned in the second class, that A assign the value equal to 6. Now what else I can do? So if I use these arithmetic operators to perform the operation on this single variable, this is how I can do that. So I have a is equal to 6, a plus 2, a, a plus is equal to 2. That will add value 2 to 6. Now let's run our program. As you can see, the answer is 8. Now if I want to multiply the value, I'll add the static sign. It will multiply it. In this way, I can also divide the value. The answer is 3. In this similar way, I can minus the value. 4. Now the value of a was 6. Now it's 4 after the operation. So this operator can be used to change the value of a variable. Okay, so next we have comparison and equality operator. So if you see here, there is operator, is not, that double equal sign, and is not equal. So all these operators are used to, and then we have these less than, equal to, greater than equal to. So all these operators are used for either comparison or the equality. Let me show you an example. So let's take our variables x and y, right? We have variable x is equal to 9, y is equal to 3. Now if I print x greater than y, it will compare these two values and tell us whether the statement is true or not. So this is telling us that it's true. Why? Because x, the value has 9 and the y has 3. So x is greater than y. And it is giving us the impression that it's true. Now if I change it, well, reverse it. Now if I compare these values, it will give us the answer false. Why? Because x is greater than y, but this expression is telling us if x is smaller than y. So it tells us no, x is not smaller than y. It's false. Now if I check if x is equal to y, so here I got an error. Why? Because I cannot check with the assignment operator. I can only check if the both variables are equal or not by using equal sign twice. So the Python team has installed, so this is how Python uses to compare two variables if they are equal or not, by using the equal sign twice. Now if I run the program, again, I will not get the error. I got the answer that it's false. Why? Because these have different values. Now, if I check that x, this sign that says exclamation mark and equal sign, so this tells us that this is not equal to. And if I print this statement, it says that yes, you are true, x is not equal to y. So why we need to use this statement? For example, if we are playing a game, so if we have a game where there is a timer, we can use this condition such that if timer is not over, continue the game. If the timer is there, the game will not end until the timer comes to 0, like a football game. So here we have more operators such as is and is not. So if I check is y, it is saying false. So what does is and equal operator differ at? So checks the identity of the variable. That is x equal to 9. It will check its identity, while the double equal sign checks the value of the operator. So if I print, that is, I'm going to show you in the next example. So now let's check if x is not y. It's saying true. The x is not y because their ID is different. Now how we can check that? Let me show you this example. So if I have x is equal to 9 and y is equal to 3, and I check their IDs, print ID of x, similarly print the ID of y, you will see the ID of x is different from the ID of y. So in this way, the equal and the is operator differ. Why? Because the equal operator checks the value, while the is operator checks the identity, which are these numbers. So what if I make them equal? Now if I run it, you will see that it's saying the first statement is false, that is x is y. The reason is, as I mentioned, that is compares the identity, and identity is a unique identifier for each object. But if we see the equal sign, it says that it is true. The reason, because the value is same. So here is the ID of X, that is 76 at the end, and here's the ID of Y, that is 56 at the end. So in this way, is and equal operators differ. Now here is another program that checks the age. So age, integer, then the input function, where I will teach you later on how to use it. So here is another program that checks the age. So I use the input function that takes the value and then performs the calculations, but I will teach you in the future how to use it. I made the age variable, I took the input, then used the condition statement, that is if age is greater than 18, print you are eligible, else you are not eligible. So now let's run the program, enter the age 17, and it says you are not eligible. So this is how we can use the comparison and equality operators. Okay, so the next concept we have, that is the logical operators. In Python, the logical operators are used to combine conditional statements to form more complex conditions. So we have not, that is urinary negation, that is similar to this one which I taught you earlier, not equal to, and that is and, that is conditional and, which we have studied in the Gates logic. So and shows that we have two conditions that we need to fulfill, or that is we have two conditions and we have to fulfill one of those conditions. So I would also like to introduce the Boolean here. We have seen the false and true statements as output when we run a program. So I have the statements here checking the type for false and true. If I run it, it says that its class is Boolean. Let me take you the example of OR and OR. So as I mentioned earlier, for the AND operator, you need both sides to be true. And in this way, the statement will execute in the true. And for the OR operator, we need either one of the sides to be true. So if one side is true, other side is false, it will still run and give us the answer true. And if both sides are false, then only then it will give us the answer false. So here we have our first statement with the AND, where X is double equal to, that is for the checking the if two variables are equal or not, X double equals Z, and X is less than C. If you see X, the value has 9 and the Z value is 3. So as I run the program, it gave us the value false. Why? Because both sides of the AND were not true. Only one side was true and the other side was false. So it gave us the answer false. And I told you the criteria that if you want AND to be true, you need both sides to be true. Now let's check the OR side. In the OR side, as I mentioned earlier, you need only one side to be true on the both side of the OR operator. So in this statement, I have X equal to Z or X less than Y. And if we check the values, X is equal to 3, Z is equal to 3, and Y is equal to 3. So as I ran the program, it gave us the answer true. Why? Because X was equal to the Z. That's a true statement. But if we look on the other side of the OR, that is X less than Y, that is a false statement because X has its value 3 and Y has value 3. So one side was true, other was false, but it still gave us the answer true. So you need only one side in OR to be true to run that statement or run the program. Okay, so now I have an example using the AND operator. I'm using a variable marks and I'm taking an input. So I will teach you in the upcoming lessons how to use and take the inputs. Then I'm using condition statement if, and I will also teach you in the upcoming lessons how to use if and else if. So first condition is if marks are less than 35, then print fail. Else, if marks are 35, between 35 and 50, print pass. And if the marks are between 50 and 70, then print first. So now let's run the program, and I entered the value of 51. And it gave us the answer first. Why? Because on the else if statement, between 50 and 70, my value lies, and it gave us the first. As I ran the program, I entered 49, and it says passed. If I run the program again and enter the value 80, then it's going to do nothing because I have set no criteria for that. But the main thing was to understand the AND logical operator. For the AND logical operator, you need both sides to be true in order to execute and give us the answer. So yeah, we studied today operators in Python and your assignment did what rule is being used by the Python. It is PEMDAS, BODMAS, DMAS. We studied the arithmetic operators, we studied the assignment operators, comparison operators, and we finally studied the logical operators. We also studied their examples. And yeah, if you want to learn from me, just message me on my social medias and make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next class.